Hi, my name's Chris and I live in Australia, and I want to let you know it's okay. It's okay, guys. It's okay to talk about your problems. It's okay in this cost of living crisis we're in to say, hey, I'm struggling a bit. It's okay to share your story with someone. I've been noticing a lot that there has been some suppression around this, a lot of resistance about people talking about their stuff. And you know, Australia, we are resilient as Australians, okay? So, you know, she'll be right, mate. Hang in there, chin up, battle on, all these things. So as Australians, we are resilient people. And you know, we are tough. We're tough. But just because we're tough doesn't mean that you shouldn't be allowed to say that you're struggling. You shouldn't be allowed to share your story and say, hey, I think this is wrong and this is impacting me this way. Across the country right now, millions of people are struggling and they're being suppressed. It's been socially, to an extent, shunned upon to talk about the issues that they're facing. So I've been doing a lot of videos recently, especially around wealth inequality, cost of living crisis, talking about the issues Australians are facing right now. And I've been seeing a trend occurring, and it was happening before I started making these videos as well. But the trend is negativity towards those who are struggling, negativity towards people sharing these things. And this negativity, it's done by some with very broad strokes. It's very broad strokes across to dismiss, discredit the stories and blame the individual for systemic issues that are occurring across the populace. It's very broad strokes these people apply, and we're going to have a look into that. And I guess to coin this negativity, to coin these broad strokes, I'm going to coin it short poppy syndrome. Short poppy syndrome. Now, Australia and other countries like New Zealand, we are bad with something called tall poppy syndrome. So the opposite of short poppy syndrome, tall poppy syndrome. If you don't know what that is, it's when someone is being successful and they're boasting, they're bragging about it, they're ahead of the pack, and you know, they're letting everyone know, they're kind of rubbing in their face a little bit. Oh, I've got 10 investment properties and you know, it's going so well and all this stuff, and you know, I'm making $1 million a year. Yeah, and then people say, okay, well, that's great that you've done that. But when they keep seeing it over and over and over again, and it's being rubbed in their face a little bit, it's like, mate, this way you can shut up, hey? Like, no one gives a fuck about your 10 properties. No one gives a fuck that you make $1 million a year. Shut up. Don't want to hear it. Okay? We don't want to hear it. And, you know, they'll say things like, oh, they got lucky. They got, you know, their parents helped them in that. It was nepotism while they got that job. All that kind of stuff. So to knock them down a few rungs, to discredit, dismiss them down a little bit. Tall poppy syndrome. If you're too far ahead of the pack and you're letting everyone know, Australians, we're going to knock you back. We're going to knock you down a couple of pegs and be like, nah, shut up. Don't want to hear it. So that's tall poppy syndrome, short poppy syndrome. So this is where the haves, very broad strokes, go against the have-nots. And with very broad strokes, they'll say, it's your fault. It's your fault. You should have worked harder. Okay? It's your fault you're not seeing the level of success that I have. It's your fault that you don't own a home. It's your fault for, you know, not working 80 hours a week. It's your fault for making poor financial decisions. It's your fault for having debt. It's your fault for not controlling your spending habits. So these statements, very broad strokes across an individual to an individual, and it's broad strokes to discredit them, to say the success is your fault. Okay, the lack of success is your fault. So you, as someone who's not successful by, or a have not, is being discredited for your struggles by a have, or someone, you know, with some wealth or success, because they don't want to be knocked down pegs anymore. The tall poppy syndrome is changing to now the haves are trying to cut the have-nots off from speaking. And this is a wealth inequality thing, guys, and a narrative of, you know, you should have worked harder. You should have not made poor financial decisions. You should have gone to university, got a better job. Okay, all this stuff. Okay, this is a narrative from the wealthy. This is a narrative from the successful to knock people down, to knock the have-nots down further. I think social media has changed a lot, especially over the last 10 years. So where we would have knocked people down a few pegs for, you know, showing off wealth and bragging about wealth and stuff like that. Social media is now full of people jumping in front of a camera saying, I have 20 investment properties, I make $1 million a year, I run a huge company with 50 employees now, and you can do it too, but you need to do things differently to what you're doing, and it's your fault because you're not doing things right now. Okay, so we're seeing people showing off wealth. They're showing pictures of Lamborghinis, showing pictures of mansions, showing their holidays around the world, boasting, bragging about wealth. You know, whereas 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we would have tall poppied the fuck out of them people. They would have said, shut the fuck up, mate. Okay, yeah, go on a holiday, enjoy. Don't fucking rub it in our faces. We don't want to see it. I don't give a fuck about your holiday photos. Okay, I don't care that you have 20 investment properties. I don't give a shit, mate. Okay, I don't even have one investment property, so shut up. Okay, so that's what we would have done. We would have knocked them down a few pegs. But it's not happening anymore. We're not seeing that occurring at this current time. But now, the wealthy, the haves, have changed the narrative. Okay, they've flipped the script. So now instead of them being attacked, they are on the attack. They're attacking the have-nots. A common one, avocado on toast. Oh, the reason why you're not successful is because you spend all your money on avocado on toast. Just a broad stroke, a broad brush. Painting picture. People who don't have a home, it's because they spend all their money on avocado on toast. Reason why young people don't get ahead is because they spend all their money on avocado and toast. There's a broad stroke. You know, I don't go out to cafes and spend my money on smashed avocados and toast and 4 cups of coffee a day or whatever other absurd example that this narrative from the wealthy is being pushed down on the have-nots right now. Okay, this narrative, okay, it is very, very loud. Okay, yeah, you probably see it. Go through my comments on my videos, you'll see people broad strokes attacking me, saying it's you should have done this, you should have done that, it's your fault. Oh, this guy's probably got like a ton of debt, this guy's blah blah blah. Oh, it's because he drives DoorDash, without realizing it's just a side hustle, it's extra income for me. They just do these broad strokes without knowing anything about my specific circumstances. But it's not just about me. These people do the broad strokes across on everyone. Anyone that's not successful, anyone that doesn't have a home, anyone, you know, that's struggling, these same broad strokes they'll just paint across everyone without understanding anything about their individual circumstances or what they're doing or the things they've put in place to try to get ahead. Broad strokes. Now for the have-nots, whenever they speak up with their stories, they share their stories, they talk about their hardships, they talk about tough times, they're getting slapped, absolutely slapped down and talking down to with short poppy syndrome. People just belittling them, talking down upon them. It's not right, okay? The narrative is wrong. We should be supporting each other, sharing stories. Because when you share stories and you talk about these things, it opens the discourse, it opens the conversation, it raises the issue. But when people are in fear of showing their situation, when they're in fear of talking about their struggles, when they're in fear of, you know, essentially short poppy syndrome, being slapped down, being belittled by other people, especially people, you know, societal standards, more successful than them at this current point, you know, they don't want to be belittled and smeared down, okay? But it's happening. Short poppy syndrome is happening. Go look at my comments. You're going to see it through my videos everywhere. People just shit talking me down. But, you know, I've got thick skin. I can take it. I'm on the camera. I'm doing these talks and stuff like that. You know, it used to hurt a little bit, but I'm becoming a bit numb to it now. But these same people will do it to not people on social media. They'll do it to anyone out there. Okay, and even if it's not to their face, they'll do it behind their backs, and it's not a nice thing to do. It's not good. Okay, that's not a good societal thing that's occurring right now. You know, I get in my comment sections like, this guy's got heaps of debt. This guy should have bought a house 15 years ago. What was he doing in his 20s? If this guy didn't get tattoos, he would have a house. He's making the wrong choices, has the wrong priorities. I was like, these are such broad stroke things, okay? You know, quickly address, I don't have debt, okay? I've been saving. I'm getting close to home ownership, but I have these people just broad stroking this stuff, this tall poppy syndrome. What was I doing, you know, in my 20s and stuff like that? I tried to go for a home. I did. And I talked to brokers and everything like that, and they said, cool, this is how much you can borrow, this is how much you got saved. You're about 50 grand short on the gap there to get into the market. So I was short. I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll keep saving for a few years, but then housing prices just kept drifting further and further. All right, and you know, the tattoos one. Okay guys, $3 grand of tattoos I got over a decade ago. Okay, now if $3,000 was a 10% deposit on a house, so houses $30,000 10 years ago, you tell me, is that realistic? So it's just stupid shit, stupid broad strokes. And it's the narrative, it's that short poppy syndrome from people, you know, judging, belittling, trying to have a go, instead of supporting and trying to raise people up. So that's the narrative right now. And I don't like that narrative at all. And I think it's very destructive, especially to the people struggling, because it's being told that they're not good enough, they've done something wrong, when there is systemic issues occurring. Okay? Money is being printed by the governments. They are devaluing the dollar. Housing prices are a Ponzi right now. The price is just skyrocketing. And you're being told it's your fault. You're being told it's your fault for all of this. No, okay, it's ridiculous. And I get it. People ogle wealth on social media. That's why the haves and the success, it's so fun to watch, because those who don't have it, they're like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool to have a big house? Oh man, wouldn't it be cool to have a Lamborghini? And these people, they push it out there saying, just work hard, do this, do what I did, you know, and short poppy the fuck out of the population with it. But, you know, keep in mind, guys, 95% of these people on social media flaunting wealth and saying, you know, all these things and all these success systems, well, a lot of them are selling courses, aren't they? They're making their money, they're making their wealth through selling bullshit courses to rip off the desperate, to rip off people looking for any solution to try and get forward. So yeah, keep that in mind. So all this flash, all this, you know, rubbing in your face, you know, where tall poppy, we would have cut them down in the past, being accepted now, and they're selling courses to profit off those who are struggling, off those who are not financially successful, for those who are looking for any way to try and get ahead, and they're profiteering off of it. So I was reading a story in one of my comments, someone shared one of their stories, and I think it's very important to share stories. If you have a story, share it in my comment section, people read them, okay? And, you know, short poppy syndrome, they would, you know, attack and tear this person down, say, oh, you know, the reason why you're not successful is all these broad strokes. But this guy was a tradesman, successful tradesman when he was younger. And he was doing well, and he was, you know, getting his house and all that kind of stuff, paying it down. Then he had a car accident, and he couldn't work anymore, and he lost everything over a couple of years. Couldn't get back to work, and then just over time just got drained. Lost everything on health. Now these broad strokes to say, you should, well, you know, you should be working harder. Oh no, you should stop spending your money on, you know, pointless crap. Oh, you have no control over your finances and you're just splurging it. Oh, you should get a better job. Go get a trade. People tell me to get fucking trades all the time. I'm like, come on. I'm in my 30s, man. I'm going on a fucking apprenticeship. I'm already doing all right in the paths that I've chosen. But this guy broke his back, lost everything. I think it was his back. It was a spinal issue or something like that, but he couldn't work anymore. And tall poppy syndrome is allowed to thrive, belittling him, even though in his personal circumstances, he cannot do all that stuff anymore. But the broad strokes is allowing people to say this kind of shit across people without knowing anything about them. Okay, so short poppy syndrome, if you see people doing short poppy syndrome in my comments, call it out. Say, hey, this is short poppy syndrome. All right, call it out, because there's bullshit. You know, if we can't do tall poppy syndrome anymore because that narrative shifted, well, you know, let's call out the short poppy syndrome. Why would you let the haves absolutely belittle all the have-nots? It's nuts, man. It's dystopian. It is a weird societal thing that's occurring right now. 95% of the time, these short poppy syndrome comments are just complete asshole comments. They're asshole comments, and you wouldn't say them to someone's face most of the time. You just wouldn't, unless you're a complete fucking asshole, which some of these people are. All right, so just put yourself in the shoes if you're incredibly wealthy, and then you just shit talking down on people who haven't met your level of success or your level of wealth. What kind of asshole are you? You're a dick, absolute dick. But guys, on the narrative wars, tall poppy syndrome, okay, it's been removed out. People are ogling, looking at success and like, oh wow, he's got a Lambo, oh wow, he's got like 3 investment properties on social media. So ogling success, tall poppy syndrome is no longer occurring, and it's been removed, it's been wiped out, but short poppy syndrome is on the rise, where people are blaming the individual without knowing anything about their circumstances, just attacking them, and for some reason it's been on the narrative, it's okay to talk like that to people. That's my biggest thing. You don't talk to people like that. You don't do that. You don't knock down people less fortunate than you are. That's just the basics. It's not Australian, it's not mateship, it's not the culture this country used to be, at least. Okay, I think Australia is losing its moral compass a lot if we're allowing this stuff to happen, if we're allowing these narratives to occur. It shouldn't be happening. So anyway, guys, what are your thoughts? Do you think short poppy syndrome is on the rise? Do you think tall poppy syndrome is on the decline? What do you think is going morally wrong here? Have you been a victim? Have you been a victim of short poppy syndrome? Have you been a victim of tall poppy syndrome? What are your thoughts, guys? Leave them down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace out.